Japan is known for a lot of things, including great food, the home of anime and manga, beautiful countryside scenery, the birthplace of advanced electronics, impeccably clean streets, unlike the UK, IGN Yamato, and the invasion of the Pacific Islands. But one thing you might not expect them to be famous for is the country's most built locomotive, the JNR D51s. Designed by renowned engineer Hideo Shima and built between 1936 to 1951, the class was a development of the older and smaller D50 class from 1923 and was made up of an astonishing 1,164 members, with the majority of the order for construction being given to 13 locomotive workshops across Japan. Initially built for heavy freight trains throughout Japan, some would be put on express trains on the steep gradients in Hokkaido because of their impressively high tractive effort of 41,000 pounds. They were originally built with a dome that went nearly the full length of the boiler, which gained them the name Namaguchi-gata, or slug form in English. This was later done away with for a more normal-sized dome under the Tohoku specification, and this would be the dome for the rest of the class. The locomotives were designed to run on the JNR's 3-foot 6-inch rails, otherwise known as Cape Gauge. The reason for it being called Cape Gauge is because of it being the original standard gauge in the British Cape Colony, now known as the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa. The locomotives also found themselves working in other Asian countries. 30 were sent to an island called Sakhalin, which was formerly under Japanese occupation and named Karafuto Prefecture, in 1949. These became the Soviet Railway D51s and would run on Soviet metals until 1979, when they were withdrawn. They would also see use in other formerly occupied Japanese territories, such as Taiwan, the Philippines, Korea, and China. The Korean variants would make up the smallest group of the class, that being 2 members, and were sent to South Korea in 1951 to help the Americans and South Koreans in the Korean War against the Communist North. However, the engines had to be converted to standard gauge, or 4-foot 8.5 gauge, before they could be shipped over and were reclassified as Mika 7s. When the war was declared over on the 27th of July 1953, the engines would begin their normal working lives until 1965. Now on to the group that had the shortest lifespan, the Manila Railroad Company's Class 300s. The 5 members of the 300 class were built at Nippon Sharyo's works in 1951 and were shipped over the same year. These engines look the farthest from the original design, as they were built without the smoke deflectors that the D51s were known for. However, despite only being in service for 5 short years, all 10 were withdrawn by 1956 as the MRC completed its dieselization switch. The final place that the D51s worked abroad was on Hainan Island off the coast of China. This was because the JNR offered 5 of the class to work for the Japanese military to help continue the occupation, and when that plan failed in the form of Japan's catastrophic loss of World War II, the 5 engines were left to be claimed by the Chinese, which they gladly did, and those would become the China National Railway's JF51s. With the class proven to be mechanical marvels abroad, it should be no surprise that they were household names on the Japanese mainland and home islands, with the majority of them being kept in service until 1975. Once the last of the D51s were withdrawn, a staggering total of 165 are on stat display across 3 countries, Japan, Taiwan, and Russia, and 5 are in active service, with 1 being left in a running state in Yuzhno Sakhalin's railway station on Sakhalin Island, meaning that 14.3% of the class remains today.